Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the House Local Government Committee. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and we'll begin with the roll call. I ask Christina to please call the roll of members.
Chairman Freeman.
Here.
Representatives Borowski,
Designation.
Donahue,
Designation.
Fleming,
Designation.
Haddock,
Designation.
Hambidge,
Designation.
Kazim,
Designation.
Madsen,
Designation.
Monroe,
Also designation.
Probst,
Designation.
Prokopiak, Salisbury,
Designation.
Sappy,
Designation.
Smith-Waddell.
Also designation.
Chairman Miller.
Here.
Representatives Banta. Here. Fink,
Designation.
Flick,
Designation.
Jones,
Here.
Kozak, Kuzma, Reichard, Rinkavage,
Designation.
Watro,
Designation.
Weakneck, Wentling.
Designation.
And I just want to note the presence of Representative Donahue, so we have him in person. Before we begin with our agenda, I'd like to call on Chairman Miller to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone would please rise. Okay, moving on to our agenda. Our first bill is House Bill 438, Representative Kuzma. Is there a motion to take the bill up? So moved by Mr. Kuzma. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Kozak. Apologize. I just want to note also we've been joined by Representative Fink. The bill having been moved and properly seconded, we will turn to Joshua Walker for an explanation of the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 438, sponsored by Representative Kuzma, amends the local tax collection law to allow a taxpayer to request to remove the name of a deceased spouse from a real estate tax bill. The taxpayer must present a written request with a death certificate to the tax collector and the county assessment office. Currently, to remove a name from a tax bill, the owner would have to prepare and record a new deed. This legislation would allow the change to take place on the tax bill without altering the deed. The bill would take effect in 60 days, and it is supported by the State Tax Collectors Association, the State Association of Boroughs, the Municipal League, the State Association of Township Commissioners, and the State Association of Elected County Officials.
Thank you. Representative Kuzma, do you have any comments?
Sure. Very quickly, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for bringing the bill up. I greatly appreciate it. Aside from serving as a legislator, I still own a law practice back home in my district, and this idea came to me whenever I discovered that almost every month I would have an elderly widow come to my law office with a tax bill, which she gets quarterly, with her deceased spouse on it. And she would ask me, is there some form or some paperwork that you could do to remove my husband from the tax bill? I've been getting them for 20 years. And the only thing that you could do right now to do that is record a new deed, which comes at quite a cost. In Allegheny County, the fee to record a new deed is almost $200. The legal fee could be $300 to $500 to $1,000. So this would be a quick fix to allow widows to be able to take a death certificate, send it off, have the name pulled off at no expense.
Thank you. Sounds like a good proposal. Is there any comments or discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. We need a motion to. No, we brought it up. Yeah. So we'll move to a vote. Is there any objection to a simple voice vote? Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The bill passes unanimously. It will be sent to the floor. Congratulations. Our next bill is House Bill 620, Representative Isaacson's Municipal Waste Planning Recycling Bill. Welcome. Is there a motion to bring up the bill? Moved by Mr. Prokopiak, second by Mr. Donahue. Being moved and properly seconded, I'll ask John for a brief overview, and then we'll be happy to have comments from this prime sponsor.
Okay, House Bill 620, Representative Isaacson's bill, would amend the Municipal Waste Planning, Recycling, and Waste Reduction Act. That's Act 101 of 1988, which established the Municipal Waste Planning, Recycling, and Waste Reduction Program under the administration of the Department of Environmental Protection. The bill would increase the recycling fee authorized under the act and paid by the operators of municipal waste landfills and resource recovery facilities. Specifically, it would increase the recycling fee from $2 per ton, which was set when the act was first enacted in 1988, to $5 per ton for all solid waste disposed of at municipal waste landfills and processed at municipal waste incinerators. All revenue generated by the fee and received by the Department of Environmental Protection are paid into the recycling fund, a special fund within the state treasury.
Thank you. Representative, you here to make some comments?
Yes, good morning, and thank you, Chairman Freeman and Chairman Miller, for allowing me to speak on this bill. And for those who have not been around, I've been working on this bill for a few terms now. When I started and I picked the fee that I was going to ask for in this legislation, it was $1 a decade. That's how long it's been since we've increased this fee. This fee is part of the tipping fee for the trash and the municipal waste that we collect in the Commonwealth. The recycling fund is a fund that collects money that gives out grants to your local municipalities so that they can conduct recycling efforts within their communities. So this is not a fund that is just part of the general fund. It's specifically designating money for recycling efforts throughout municipalities in the Commonwealth. This fee has not changed in 38 years. So obviously, as we have been going over time, we are now down to about, as opposed to the $2 that it was initially done in 1988, it's about 73 cents. So we are one of the largest importers of trash. And I want you to understand that this is not just your local trash waste recycling. I understand we have many large businesses in this Commonwealth that do this, but we are importing trash from other states and other countries, and basically they're coming and bringing their trash here, and we are taking that into our environment here in Pennsylvania, and we have very little funding, as I said, because this has not been changed in so long. Very little funding for our local governments to actually try and deal with recycling as we've become more and more educated on the importance of it and reducing waste within our communities and our streams and our land and everything else that needs to be taken care of. So again, 38 years, I'm asking for go from $2 to $3. It's on the tipping fee, and most of this is waste that is imported into Pennsylvania. But it would help all local communities and municipalities by making more funds available to them to do recycling efforts within their jurisdiction. So I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And I should note, too, actually it's 37 years because it was 88, but close enough. But I should note, too, that I am the last remaining member of the House who actually voted for Act 101. I was the only one that's still here who voted for it. And it was groundbreaking environmental legislation, but you're absolutely right. The $2 fee has not changed in that period of time. And today, it would be, let's see, today's $2 fee is about the purchasing power of about $5, but obviously that's way below what it would be. I'm sorry, it would be about the purchasing power of $5.30 today, an increase of $3.37 over 37 years. So bringing it up to $5 is a very accurate portrayal of what it should be. And this is essential. We've seen recycling efforts being underfunded, and as a result, a lot of items aren't being recycled anymore. They're being sent straight to the landfill. So this is a timely piece of legislation. I thank you for it. Is there any discussion or comments by the members? Oh, Representative Miller, or Chairman Miller.
Thank you. And so the last remaining
The last one standing.
Good for you. Couple things I'd like to bring up. Number one, this, I appreciate the maker of the bill and the intent. As was noted, this was mandated in 1988. And the key word there was mandated. And along with the mandate back then was also a mandate for the fees. One thing about this that, at least from my part, concerns me is that recycling efforts are good thing, but that local municipalities can undertake them by themselves currently. And if these fees aren't appropriate for them, then they could establish a funding source within their own municipality to supplement them or add to them or what have you. So that's one of the big concerns that I have, that any fee that we would enact here would be an increase to the consumer. So that is a concern for my part. So for that reason, respectfully, I'll be voting no.
Yeah, thank the gentleman for his comments. I would just note that I think we've all come to value the importance of recycling. To take things that are in our waste stream that can be recycled and bring them back to use is an important policy measure that has many benefits in terms of our resources, in terms of the cost of manufacture, and makes for less sending of waste to our landfills. So I think it's a very appropriate thing to have a recycling fee that can do that. Our recycling efforts have been terribly underfunded for 37 years. And this, I think, gets us in the right direction when it comes to providing the resources necessary for communities to be able to have successful recycling efforts. Representative Haddock, you had some comments?
Rep. Ikinson, to the chair's comment about a fee passed to the consumer, do you know by taking, if you have any figures, by taking certain products out of the mainstream and recycling, is there any studies that show that the removal of certain products, such as newspapers and aluminum cans and plastic bottles, actually saves money because less is going into the landfill to be dumped?
I don't have numbers with regard to what the removal of recyclable materials are from the waste that is brought in here. There are numerous facilities that do that recycling effort. What this is part of the tipping fee that exists for the importation of the trash to the facility. This is not how much it costs with regard, and if you're suggesting that we somehow would be taking those products out of the waste that is transported in, I don't think that there is any, now that's a mandate to get whoever is bringing their trash, whether it be New York or New Jersey or anybody else that's sending their waste here, to get them to remove those recyclable materials. That's a whole different issue than the tipping fee that is charged per ton for the waste that's brought in and brought to our facilities.
So, and then one more question. And your bill, is this only for out-of-state trash?
There is no distinction between whether it's in-state created or out-of-state. All companies that bring in trash or to the facilities pay this tipping fee. Okay. There is no distinction between one or the other. I was just pointing out that we are a huge importer of trash from outside.
Correct. And very large. Some of these facilities happen to be in my districts or right outside of my districts. So there is a tremendous amount of trash coming from out of state that's coming into Pennsylvania, even more so in my district from out of state than in state. So this fee would be paid by if there was a fee, extra cost, it would be paid by out-of-staters and maybe even a deterrent. And although $3 a ton is not going to be the deterrent, okay. But it's, I can tell you as former mayor of Avoca, depending upon the time and the cost of the recyclables and the selling point of it, there's times you can make money from recycling, and there's times it costs you money to recycle. But recycling centers and transfer stations in particular for other products have been proven to be cost efficient. So this necessarily would not cost a large sum of money to Pennsylvania residents, depending upon the market, but it certainly would charge out-of-staters and maybe deterring that trash from coming into our great state. Thank you.
Thank the gentleman for his comments. Any other comments? Seeing none, we'll take a vote. Did you want a roll call? Okay, please, we'll begin with a roll call vote.
Chairman Freeman.
Yes.
Representatives Borowski,
Designation, yes.
Donahue. Yes. Fleming,
Designation, yes.
Haddock. Yes. Hambidge,
Designation, yes.
Kazim,
Designation, yes.
Madsen,
Designation, yes.
Monroe,
Designation, yes.
Probst,
Designation, yes.
Prokopiak. Yes. Salisbury,
Designation, yes.
Sappy,
Designation, yes.
Smith Waddell.
Designation, yes.
Chairman Miller.
No.
Representatives Banta. No. Fink. Flick.
No. Designation.
Jones.
No.
Kozak. No. Kuzma. Reichard. No. Rinkavage.
No by designation.
Watro.
No by designation.
Weakneck. No. Wentling.
No by designation.
1412.
1412, the bill passes. Congratulations. It'll be sent to the floor for consideration.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
And I wish to recognize the presence of Representative Probst as well. Moving on, our next bill is House Bill 754, Representative Harkins. I'll ask John to please do an overview of the bill, then we'll ask for comments from the representative, or Chairman Harkins, I'm sorry.
Okay, House Bill 754 is Representative Harkins' bill. It would amend the county pension law, Act 96 of 1971, which contains provisions governing the establishment and operation of a county employees' retirement system for counties of the second class A through 8th. The bill would amend, or presently, Section 30B1 of the law stipulates that the cost of living increase for county annuitants shall be reviewed at least once every 3 years by the Retirement Board, and that such board may adjust the current monthly benefit of annuitants equal to the percentage change in the cost of living index at the time of review. This bill would amend that section to authorize the County Retirement Board to grant a cost of living adjustment that could be any percentage up to, but no more than, the percentage change in the cost of living index.
I neglected to bring up the bill itself. Is there a motion to bring it up? So moved by Mr. Prokopiak and seconded by Mr. Donahue. Mr. Harkins, would you care to make some comments? If you could get a little closer to your microphone, too. Yeah. Is it on?
How's that?
There you go.
There we go. That green light's deceiving.
Yeah, it is.
House Bill 754 is the same legislation that I introduced last session, I should say, which this committee favorably reported, and it subsequently passed out of the House in June of 2023. Unfortunately, it didn't make it over the finish line in the Senate, so I'm back to try again. Under county pension law, county retirement boards are required to review the supplemental benefits provided to county annuities and annuitants at least once every 3 years. While an increase in supplemental benefits to county retirees can be approved by the respective retirement boards, they have no ability to determine the amount of the increase. That is because the law requires any cost of living adjustment to equal the percentage change in the Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers. For Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and Maryland areas for the preceding 12 months. This means that counties often cannot afford to provide retirees with any cost of living adjustment because of the CPI-U is too high, and thus it is too costly. For pensioners who are living on fixed incomes, it means they're getting hit with high inflation, but the elevated CPI prevents adjustments to their supplemental benefits. My legislation would permit county retirement boards to grant cost of living and adjustments that could be any percentage up to, but not more than, the applicable CPI. There are no other changes being made in the law. My bill simply inserts 6 words, up to, but no more than. It's not a COLA bill. and it inserts this into the relevant section regarding supplemental benefits. Please join me in supporting our counties and our county retirees who have given so much over the years to us. I thank you for this, and I would also add that after the bill passed the House, we received a number of letters of support, including the County Commissioners Association, and it became a bipartisan bill, but we just couldn't get it to move quickly in the Senate because there was a perception that it was a COLA legislation to automatically grant a COLA, which it is not. And I also see that there are 2 amendments attached, and while I understand that the maker of the amendments is probably very well intentioned, they're not needed. So I would ask for a negative vote on those. Thank you.
We could have discussion on the bill now, but we do want to take up the amendments. If it's okay with the members, we'll proceed with that first. Representative Miller, you have Amendment A00148, I believe it is. Is there a motion to bring up the amendment?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Jones, seconded by Mr. Reichert. You are recognized. Oh, I'm sorry, Joshua, would you care to do the offer?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Amendment A00148, offered by Chairman Miller, requires the funding level calculation to be reported to the Department of Auditor General rather than the Public Employee Retirement Commission, and it requires counties to prepay the cost of living increase without taking on additional debt.
Representative Miller, comments?
Thank you. I appreciate the maker of this bill. My amendment does 2 things. One, in the law, it used to be under pensions, any increase had to go through what was called the PERC, Pennsylvania Employee Retirement Commission. That was made defunct by a subsequent law. So this amendment would fix that and replace that language with the Department of the Auditor General. So that's the one part of this amendment. The second amendment, which is most critical in my mind, is that it would require prepayment of the obligation. Should a county choose to give an increase, it would require the county to prepay that obligation. We have to remember that anytime a COLA is authorized, it always weakens the pension system, always. So you're increasing the obligation without any additional monies coming into the fund. And we could talk about a lot of the municipalities that have done that through the years and various issues. The total from last year in county fund pension unfunded liability was $1.4 billion. Now that was combined, but to have the requirement of prepayment obviates that from happening. So I encourage a yes vote on the prepayment, particularly that would go into this bill, should a county choose to implement this option, that they prepay it and then keep the pension funds strong for retirees to come. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Yeah, I think that one of the things we have to keep in mind is that the salaries of county employees do tend to go up over time, so they're increasingly putting more money into the fund through their pension deduction. And also the pension fund itself depends upon investments in order to keep it solvent. As long as a pension fund is adequately funded so that it's not in a dangerous zone as far as ability to pay out, I'm not sure this amendment is absolutely needed, and in fact might undermine efforts to ever get a pension increase, even though there's adequate funds from a fiduciary standpoint in the pension fund already. So for those reasons, I'm going to recommend a no vote on the amendment, although I understand the gentleman's intentions well. Any other comments? Representative Harkins? Okay. With that, please call the roll.
Chairman Freeman.
No.
Representatives Borowski,
Designation no.
Donahue. No. Fleming.
Designation no.
Haddock. No. Hambidge.
Designation no.
Kazim.
Designation no.
Madsen.
Designation no.
Monroe.
Designation no.
Probst. No. Prokopiak. No. Salisbury.
Designation no.
Sappy.
Designation no.
Smith-Waddell.
Designation no.
Chairman Miller.
Yes.
Representatives Banta. Yes. Fink. Yes. Flick.
Designation no. Or yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Kozak. Yes. Kuzma. Yes. Reichard? Yes. Rincabbage?
Yes, designation, yes.
Watro?
Designation, yes.
Weakneck? Yes. Wentling?
Designation, yes.
14-12.
I thought I had you there, Chairman.
14 no votes, 12 yes votes, therefore the amendment fails. You do have a second amendment, however, Amendment A00158. And is there a motion to bring up that amendment?
So moved.
Mr. Jones, seconded by Mr. Reichert. With that, Joshua, do you want to give us an overview?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Amendment A00158, offered by Chairman Miller, authorizes counties to provide a defined contribution plan to their employees in addition to the traditional defined benefit plan.
Okay. Representative Miller, or Chairman Miller, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. We'll try again. This particular amendment, as was mentioned, provides for a DC plan for counties to implement. Currently, the municipalities can implement a DC plan in their municipal pension plan should they choose. The state in 2018 in the pension reform bill authorized for PSERS and SERS employees to have the option for a DC plan. This would authorize a DC plan option for counties. This would allow them to do that should the Board of Commissioners choose to implement a DC plan, and it would then be voluntary for any employee to go into it, much the same as it is here in the General Assembly. So it's a good plan, and we're talking about flexibility in this bill. This would provide counties with additional flexibility, and I would urge a yes vote. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments. I do have some concerns with this amendment, only that it's a departure from what the actual process of the pension system is right now. Perhaps it would be better as a separate piece of legislation as opposed to amending this bill. I also feel that sometimes, even though defined contribution plans are considered to be a positive, when you have a defined benefit plan, when you go to defined contribution, you actually put less money into the defined benefit plan, which can undermine the stability of that plan over time, even though the obligation is still there. So for those reasons, I'm going to recommend a no vote. Would you, any other discussion? I'm sorry. Seeing none, would you call the roll?
Chairman Freeman.
No.
Representatives Borowski,
Designation no.
Donahue. No. Fleming.
Designation no.
Haddock. No. Hambidge.
Designation no.
Kazim.
Designation no.
Madsen.
Designation no.
Monroe.
Designation no.
Probst. No. Prokopiak. Salisbury.
Designation no.
Sappy.
Designation no.
Smith-Waddell.
Designation no.
Chairman Miller.
Yes.
Representatives Banta.
Yes.
Fink. Yes. Flick.
Designation, yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Kozak. Yes. Kuzma. Yes. Reichard. Yes. Rincabbage.
Designation, yes.
Watro.
Designation, yes.
Weakneck. Yes. Wentling.
And designation, yes.
Okay, the votes are 14 no, 12 yes, so the amendment fails. That brings us to the final bill. Is there any other? Yes, that's what I'm getting to. Yeah, to the final bill. Is there any further discussion on the bill in chief? Would you like to take a roll call?
Well, that's a couple comments.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Chairman Miller.
Thank you. Yeah, as I said, I understand the intent of the bill, and yet without these amendments, particularly the prepayment amendment, I think that this is not the way to go. If COLAs are going to be implemented, and the counties can do that right now, there's nothing stopping them from doing that right now. But if the prepayment doesn't go in there, I believe we're setting ourselves up for potential to be on a situation that we see across the Commonwealth in our various local municipalities and even our state pensions, which are having a difficult time. I think prepayment is a wise and prudent thing to do, and so because of that, I'm going to urge a no vote. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Just to note, too, the current dilemma, which I think Representative Harkins is trying to solve, is the fact that if you give a COLA now, it's got to be within the range of the consumer price index. So in many respects, it might be quite higher. this is a way to get a COLA that will be lower, but still provide a COLA that may not have been achieved by retirees for many, many years. I think I'm correct in that assumption.
Yes, and a number of county treasurers have contacted me, out of the 67, probably 35 to 40, saying that they don't have the ability to do this. That's why this was introduced.
To get some sort of COLA out there.
Correct, yes.
So I would urge a yes vote for the measure as we did last session. Any other discussion? Oh, Representative Borowski has joined us. Okay. I guess we'll take a roll call vote on this too, please.
Chairman Freeman.
Yes.
Representatives Borowski. Donahue. Yes. Fleming.
Designation yes.
Haddock. Yes. Hambidge.
Designation yes.
Kazim.
Designation yes.
Madsen.
Designation yes.
Monroe.
Designation yes.
Probst. Yes. Prokopiak. Yes. Salisbury.
Designation yes.
Sappy.
Designation yes.
Smith Waddell.
Designation yes.
Chairman Miller.
No.
Representatives Banta.
No.
Fink. No. Flick.
Designation no.
Jones.
No.
Kozak. No. Kuzma. Yes. Reichard. No. Rinkavage.
Designation no.
Watro.
Designation no.
Weakneck. No. Wentling.
Designation no.
1511.
Vote is 15-11. The bill will be reported to the House for consideration. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
The next bill on our agenda is House Bill 797, Representative Benham's bill. Is there a motion to bring the bill up? Moved by Mr. Prokopiak. Second. Second by, Mr. Haddock. Thank you. We'll first have an overview by John, then we'll turn to the prime sponsor.
Okay, House Bill 797 is Representative Benham's bill. This bill would amend the second-class city fireman relief law to allow the surviving spouses of Pittsburgh firefighters to continue to collect pension benefits in the event that they remarry.
Would you care to make some comment?
I would love to.
Oh,
So
you're
thank you,
welcome.
thank you so much to Chair Freeman and Chair Miller for considering this bill today, as well as all of the members of the committee. In speaking with firefighters in my district, I represent quite a lot of them, I learned that surviving spouses of Pittsburgh firefighters lose eligibility to receive pension payments if they remarry, because state law specifies that this occurs for firefighter pensions in second-class cities. This restriction does not occur for any other class of municipality in state law, so it is an inconsistency. And furthermore, in 2006, the provision ending pension benefits for surviving spouses of Pittsburgh police officers upon remarriage was repealed, but we haven't done the same for Pittsburgh firefighters. I believe that all first responders and their families deserve to be rewarded and recognized for their service to our communities, and that surviving spouses of Pittsburgh firefighters should not be denied this honor on remarriage due to legislative oversight. I want to thank Pittsburgh Firefighters Local 1 for their advocacy and their support of this bill, and thank you again all for your consideration. I would appreciate it if you'd vote yes.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any questions to the prime sponsor or any discussion? Roll call or voice vote?
We're okay. Yeah. Roll
I think
call.
we'll go with voice vote then, if that's okay. All those in favor of the bill, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The bill passes out of the committee unanimously. Congratulations. That brings us to House Bill 822, my bill. John, call upon him for, before we have that, any motion to bring it up? Representative Prokopiak, I keep butchering your name, my apologies. Prokopiak. And seconded by Representative Probst. Thank you. That's easy, yeah. Call upon John for a brief overview on the legislation.
Okay, House Bill 822 is Chairman Freeman's bill. It would allow housing authorities in cities of the second class A and third class to establish police force. Specifically, the bill would amend Section 10EE of the Housing Authority Law to allow housing authorities in those cities to appoint police officers. Officers would have the ability to exercise the same powers provided for in local laws or ordinances by the police in municipalities where the housing authority is situated. Additionally, housing authority police officers would have the powers conferred to municipal police under Title 42 relating to municipal police jurisdiction on properties owned by the housing authority and adjacent properties. However, they must complete training required of municipal police officers and receive certification from the Municipal Police Officers Education and Training Commission before they can exercise these powers, and they must maintain certification as a condition of employment with the housing authority.
Thank you. This measure would basically grant to cities of the third class and Scranton, which is a second class A city, the same right that Philadelphia and Pittsburgh-Allegheny County have had in having the ability to create a police force in the public housing authority. It is a measure that can ensure greater safety in public housing areas. A lot of our public housing, particularly in cities of the third class, was built in what was urban renewal demolition. And much of that is isolated. So it can be an area that's isolated and therefore more prone to possible crime or activity that threatens public safety. Having your own police force is a way to ensure greater protection for the residents of public housing, particularly the elderly and children, but can also go a long way if properly implemented to encourage community policing, which is a great tool to work with residents to ensure a safer environment and setting. No community would be mandated to have a public or police housing authority police, but they would have the option. And some might decide simply to hire a detective to keep an eye on public housing property to make sure that nothing illegal is going on. And they would always have the option of calling on the local police forces backup in case there's a real need for that as well. Keep in mind, a lot of communities of the third class have very limited budgets based on their tax base. So having housing authority police can be a supplement to what policing needs might be within a community as well, which might be kind of stretched as far as resources. Any other comments or questions? Chairman Miller.
Thank you. I appreciate the intent of this bill, and I think all of us here, I'll speak for me anyway, but I think all of us would definitely desire the concept of safety for these particular geographical locations within many municipalities. However, I do have concerns about it from some practical perspectives and also from a governmental perspective. First of all, the police powers of the state are the most, I'm not sure of the word there, but there's a lot of power in that, the power to punish, the power to arrest, the power to confine, and all of that. And so the police powers of the state are designed, in my mind, to be under the direct authority of the elected officials. When you have an authority members are not elected, they are appointed. So the police powers of the state, in my mind, need to be under the direct authority of the elected officials. So that's my biggest area of concern in relation to this. Now, I understand, you can trail it back to the elected officials that authorize the authorities who then authorize. I get that, but for my mind, I would rather a direct line in this regard. Secondly, I think we run into issues related to potential jurisdictional boundaries, boundary issues. Where's our territory? Where's your territory? Well, we're the housing police. We can only go to this line, and you can't. But I just have concerns about that. The other issue is, are we then competing with the need for police officers? Many municipalities have difficulty getting police right now. Are we then creating a problem in procuring those individuals for our needed police force for the overall safety of the entire community? And finally, there's nothing stopping a municipality right now from hiring additional police officers and then designating them, okay, you 10 officials or police officers are going to be assigned to this housing area. That's your responsibility. That's where you're going to go day after day, establish relationships, form community policing sort of concept, and so forth. And so for those reasons, I understand the intent, but I think that this creates some governmental problems for me, logistical problems, and some complexity issues, which I don't think are needed. And so for that reason, I would urge a no vote. Thank you.
I thank the gentleman for his comments. Just to address some of the concerns he's raised. To begin with, even though there is a level of separation from the civil authority, obviously the housing authority is appointed by the local elected officials. So there is a responsibility that comes back to the local elected official, and I appreciate his point on that. As far as jurisdiction, the municipal police would always have jurisdiction because the housing authority is still within the municipal boundary. So they'd be able to do their function as a police force, even within public housing, with a public housing police force in existence. Typically, the public housing police force would probably call upon the municipal force as a backup, but the municipal force would always have jurisdiction because the housing authorities reside within the municipal boundaries. As far as funding, you could have the local tax base try and pick up more police officers, but with public housing, there's the opportunity for them to draw on the federal dollars they receive for public housing for the housing police force, thereby sparing the local jurisdiction of having to increase taxes or pay for additional police within their jurisdiction. So this is just another tool to offer. Again, it's not mandatory. It's an optional tool for every housing authority in cities of the third class or in Scranton to consider and to weigh whether it would be appropriate and whether it would have benefits for their community. But I know from cases that have occurred within my own community, there are many senior citizens who are in public housing and have expressed concerns over their vulnerability and feel that they don't get quite the attention that they deserve in terms of calling in the police to help them with a criminal matter. So this is one way to address that, and I think one that will be used judiciously and probably rarely, but for those communities that can see a need to put it in place. Representative Haddock, you had a comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was going to ask to clarify, and I believe you said that in your last statement. This should be totally optional by the housing authority of that city. Is that correct?
Thank you. I'm sorry, I had a sidebar.
Totally, I think you clarified it, but this bill would make it totally optional to the city or the housing authority of the city to institute or not institute the police
Correct.
department. And there would be the Act 120 would be a requirement.
Yeah, they'd have to meet all the standards.
Okay, thank you.
And as Mr. Caselli pointed out to me too, we have a situation here in Harrisburg where we have the Capitol Police, which are for our own protection within the Capitol, but they also work in tandem with the municipal police in Harrisburg and are part of that jurisdiction. Mr. Kuzma.
Hey, I just wanted to ask one question. Have the FOP or any of the police organizations weighed in on this, where they fall?
They don't have a position.
They've taken no official position on it. I know the police chief in Easton has expressed his favor for it, but no, the FOP hasn't weighed in. Okay, any other questions or concerns that want to be raised? If not, we'll move on to a vote on the bill. I guess you want a roll call. Roll call vote, please. Yes. Designation, yes.
Haddock. Yes. Hambidge.
Designation, yes.
Kazim.
Designation, yes.
Manson.
Designation, yes.
Monroe.
Designation, yes.
Probst. Prokopiak. Yes. Salisbury.
Designation, yes.
Sappy.
Designation, yes.
Smith Waddell.
Designation, yes.
Chairman Miller.
No.
Representatives Banta. No. Fink. Flick.
Designation, no.
Jones.
No.
Kozak. No. Kuzma. Yes. Reichard. No. Rinkavidge.
Designation, no.
Watro.
Designation, no.
Weakneck. No. Wentling.
Designation, no.
Okay.
1511.
1511, the bill will be reported to the floor for consideration. That brings us to our next bill, which is House Bill 858, Representative Solomon, or Chairman Solomon, please come forward. Is there a motion to bring up the bill? Mr. Prokopiak, motion to bring up the bill, seconded by Representative Probst. Okay.
She's leaving too.
Oh, it's okay. Before we call on you, Mr. Solomon, we'll ask Mr. Castelli to please give an overview of the bill.
Okay, House Bill 858, Representative Solomon's bill, would amend Title 68, Real and Personal Property of the Consolidated Statutes to establish county property contact information lists within counties. Under the bill, the chief assessor of the county must establish and maintain a list of real properties located within the county. The contact information shall be provided to the chief assessor if the buyer of a property is an individual or a business. Individuals who purchase a property must provide their name, residential address, telephone number, and email address. If the owner of a property is a business or a limited liability company, the owner shall provide the contact information for an individual or employee who has the authority to repair, maintain, or rectify the problem or municipal code violation. If the contact information changes, the owner of the property must notify the chief assessor with current information within 30 days, and a county may levy a fine of up to $1,000 against an individual or business for knowingly providing false or incorrect information or intentionally or knowingly failing to update contact information with the chief assessor as required under the bill. A municipality may request contact information for a real property from the chief assessor. The chief assessor shall share the information with the requester if the municipality demonstrates any reasonable need for use of the contact information, which shall include a discussion with the property owner regarding the upkeep and maintenance of the property. And finally, a chief assessor may assess and collect a fee of up to $20 per request for the contact information for a real property.
Thank you. Chairman Solomon, you're recognized for comments.
Chairman Freeman, Chairman Miller, thank you so much for bringing this bill up for consideration to the committee. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. We love to hate blight. We truly do. And blight is everywhere. It's in urban, suburban, and rural Pennsylvania. You know it when we see it, right? This is the next door neighbor that has 3 boats on their property, a refrigerator, and 2 TVs. This is a neighbor that plays music at 3 and 4 a.m., and no one on the block can sleep. This is your neighbor down the road who has 3 windows that are not boarded up, and the elements are exposed to the inside of the home. Now, what does this mean for all of us? It means quality of life goes down. It means property values decrease. And I would say most importantly, it means that a sense of community pride is not felt on that block. Now, at least in my neighborhood, and I know in many of yours, the biggest problem is when trying to address these code violations, municipalities don't have tools because a lot of the owners of these properties that I just mentioned don't live in Pennsylvania. They're having a good time in Maryland and New York and New Jersey. And when you look up ownership of the property, you will get something very cryptic like New York LLC or Maryland ABC. Well, how do you contact New York LLC? You can't. So neighbors are forced to endure week after week, month after month, year after year without any recourse. This bill provides an answer. It empowers municipalities with a tool to identify an individual that actually can maintain the property. So now the 3 refrigerators, the 2 TVs, the noise into the night, no longer, because we are allowing municipalities to identify the contact information for these wayward landlords and hold them finally accountable to our communities. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you for your comments. We do have a number of amendments to take up before we deal with the bill in chief. The first is my amendment 00137, reducing the maximum allowable fine in the bill from 1,000 to 500. I believe Chairman Miller had a similar amendment as well.
Did we motion to bring up the bill in second already?
We did have a motion to bring up the bill in a second, yes, we did, yeah. Is there a motion to bring up my amendment? Mr. Donahue, Mr. Coquier?
Second.
Oh.
Oh, it has already been, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Should have given you a second since you had the same kind of amendment. John, do you wish to give an overview?
Very simply, Amendment A 00137, Chairman Freeman's, would reduce the maximum allowable fine from $1,000 to $500 against an individual or business for knowingly providing false or incorrect information or intentionally or knowingly failing to update contact information with the chief assessor as required under the legislation.
Okay, any comment or discussion? Chairman Miller?
I would simply encourage a yes vote on this. Representative Solomon and I had this discussion last year. It's a good amendment, and I would urge a yes vote. Thank you.
Any other comment? Seeing none, we'll do a voice vote. All those in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? No opposition. The amendment is included unanimously. Our second amendment is offered by Representative Reichert, Amendment A00149. Is there a motion to bring it up? Chairman Miller, seconded by Mr. Kuzma. Mr. Walker, you care to give an overview?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Amendment A 00149, offered by Representative Reichert, removes the provision allowing the county assessor to assess and collect a fee upon municipalities, a $20 fee for the contact information.
Okay. Any discussion? Representative Reichert.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the recognition. Representative Solomon, thank you for this bill. Just reading through the bill, Section 2503, number 2, requires municipalities to convey this information, to share the information that they collect with the counties, the county assessor. Section 2505 permits only municipalities to have access to that information, but then in the subsequent section, we're requiring municipalities to pay a $20 fee to essentially access their own information that they had provided previously. And I fully understand that the municipalities can keep the list themselves, that, this transaction, it's not going to be huge and burdensome by any stretch, but ultimately, we're just shifting tax dollars back and forth between entities. So my amendment essentially just eliminates that $20 fee that the assessor would charge back to the municipality to get their own information back. So, thank you.
Thank you. I think it's a very good amendment, and it makes a lot of sense. Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The amendment is included as a result of a unanimous vote. We next move on to Representative Kuzma's amendment, 00151. Is there a motion to bring up his amendment? Representative Reichert, second by Chairman Miller. Joshua, would you care to give an overview?
Sure. Amendment A 00151, offered by Representative Kuzma, would exclude owner-occupant properties from the provisions of this bill.
Any discussion? Comments by the, I'm sorry, Mr. Kuzma.
So everything that you said in your opening statement, I agree with 100%. I was a township commissioner for 2 terms in a first-class township, and where I live, at the time that I served as commissioner, we had 300 abandoned properties. And I was the chair of the Code Enforcement Committee, and we would find these derelict buildings where we tried to cite people, and they're owned by an LLC. And you don't know where they are. You pull up the tax assessment page at some P.O. box in Delaware. Well, you send a letter to them, it comes back returned, and then what do? There's nothing that you could do. So my only concern was we want to go after irresponsible owners that we can't find, right? So LLCs, even trusts, or even individuals that own 50 rental properties and that they're not very good landlords. So this amendment would take out people that have the homestead exemption now. So people that live in their primary residence, if you need to get a hold of them, you go up and knock on the door. But I realize that the language in my amendment conflicts with another term in the bill, and we may be able to work out something on the floor. So if that's the case, I would be willing to withdraw the amendment.
Oh, I thank the gentleman. Appreciate that. Hopefully, the two of you can confer.
Representative Kuzma, is it okay, Chairman Freeman? Representative Kuzma, I just want to thank you for that. We will get that amendment done on the floor because the intent behind it, I completely agree with. I just want to tighten up the definition. Thank you.
Look forward to the amendment on the floor. That brings us to our final amendment to consider, Amendment A00153 by Rankavich. Is there a motion to bring it up? So moved by. Oh, you're going to withdraw?
Can I have some comments?
Oh, sure. Chairman Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to, on behalf of Representative Rinkavich, withdraw the amendment for now. I had some conversations with Representative Solomon, and the fact that Representative Rinkavich is not here, we want to work on that language and see, make sure we get that right, and if an amendment is needed on the floor, we'll take care of that at that point, so we'll withdraw the amendment at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that. That brings us to a vote on the final bill, House Bill 858. Is it okay to do a voice vote?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The bill is reported unanimously out of the committee.
Thank you all so much. Thank you.
And that brings us to our final action item today, which is House Resolution 118, sponsored by me and Chairman Miller, recognizing Local Government Week and Local Government Day. I think we all acknowledge the important role that our local officials play in our communities. Many of the members of this committee actually were local elected officials, so you appreciate the time and effort that goes into being a public servant in your hometown. I will ask for a motion to bring it up. Mr. Donahue, and seconded by Mr. Miller. Any discussion? I'm sorry? Oh, Chairman Miller. Yeah. Any discussion?
There will be one.
Oh, okay, there's one. Did you want a roll call or just to recognize the one no vote?
One no is sufficient.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, let's take a voice vote and we can record it that way. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Representative Fink will be recorded in the negative. Okay, and that resolution will be reported to the House in plenty of time for Local Government Month coming up, I believe, in April.
Week.
Oh, week, I'm sorry. Week and day, sorry. Yeah. I gave an extra 30 days.
Poetry Month.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, that concludes our meeting for today. I thank the members for their attendance, and we stand adjourned.